My mother-in-law was allergic to seafood, but she still blamed the doctor for not having medical ethics and talking nonsense to cheat her money. I advised her that there are many types of allergic symptoms. Luckily, this time it wasn't serious, but next time it might not be so bad. I told her to listen to the doctor and stop eating seafood. I thought she would listen to me, but the next day she told the neighbors that I was unfilial, didn't let her eat delicious food, cursed her to die early, and colluded with the doctor to cheat her money. As a result, everyone around me was gossiping behind my back, making me extremely tired and stressed. Not only that, she also heard from my husband that I was allergic to peanuts. She secretly put peanut butter in my food. When I started to suffocate and was about to go into anaphylactic shock, begging my mother-in-law for help, she still laughed at me. "If others can eat it, why can't you?" "You're really weak. I think you're just pretending." If she could live her life over again, she wanted to eat seafood. I absolutely would not stop her. Just eat it, eat a lot. I would support it. That doctor must have seen that we didn't know anything, so he deliberately prescribed a lot of medicine to get money. He had no ethics at all. I think my illness would have healed without taking medicine. Look, in less than 2 hours, I was completely fine, and he told me not to eat seafood. He clearly wanted me to eat poorly. I just ate it and saw what he could do to me. My mother-in-law's familiar shrill voice rang in my ears. I took deep breaths to feel the fresh air. The surroundings were still familiar. For a moment, I felt like I was in a dream. My memory still stopped at the moment I suffocated to death, filled with despair and hatred. Now I realized that I had reincarnated. In my previous life, I was worried that my mother-in-law was allergic to seafood, so I always reminded her to take medicine on time and stay away from seafood. I warned her many times about the serious consequences of allergies, afraid that she would secretly eat something, but she didn't believe me, and even said that I was talking nonsense. The next day, she ran to the end of the neighborhood and told the neighbors that I was an unfilial daughter-in-law, not giving her good food, cursing her to die, and colluding with the doctor to cheat her out of money. Normally, she would nitpick, criticize me for being clumsy, and harshly scold me as a hen that couldn't lay eggs. At that time, I thought she had come from the countryside to the city and didn't understand, so I endured it. I also gritted my teeth and endured the neighbors' gossip. Who would have thought that she would deliberately find out from my husband that I was allergic to peanuts? She made food for me but secretly mixed peanut butter in it. By the time I realized it, it was too late. My throat swelled up in a few seconds. I immediately felt dizzy and fell down. I grabbed my mother-in-law's pants, knelt down, and begged her to call an ambulance. But she shook my hand away, stood there watching me struggle, and sneered. "It's just an allergy. If others can eat it, you can eat it too." I could see that she was just pretending. Those city girls were really weak and picky. What about my husband and father-in-law? They were so used to her bullying me that they didn't even bother to say anything anymore. In the end, I gradually lost my breath, my eyes darkened, and I passed out. Remembering the past, I gritted my teeth in anger. If I were to live again in this life, I would absolutely not forgive any of them. At that moment, my mother-in-law came to talk to me, her voice shrill like the sound of chalk scratching a board. "Zhao Yi, you're from the city. You must be very knowledgeable. Tell me, is that doctor cheating us?" My mother wasn't sick at all, but he prescribed a bunch of medicine. I glanced at my husband and father-in-law standing beside me. The two of them nodded silently in agreement with her. In my previous life, I was that miserable, and these two were also accomplices. A thought suddenly flashed through my mind, so I pretended to be naive and replied, "I'm not a medical student. I'm not very familiar with these things, but at home, seafood is a familiar dish. We eat it regularly." Hearing me say that, my mother-in-law immediately felt sour in her heart. She had lived her whole life without having delicious food. Now, hearing me talk so lightly about eating seafood like it was a daily meal, she felt even more jealous and angry. She started to whine to her husband and son and to her father-in-law and my husband. I told you that Doctor is not a good person. She can eat it regularly. Why can't I? She was just jealous of me seeing that I also had delicious food, so she deliberately tried to intimidate me. I just ate and saw who could do anything to me. My husband and father-in-law quickly made it clear, promising to take her to the market to buy seafood the next day. Hearing the promise, she calmed down and even turned to look at me smugly. Xiao Yi, from now on, I will be able to eat a seafood feast every day. Sure enough, the next day the table was filled with lobsters and crabs. My mother-in-law was as happy as the new year, leaning on my father-in-law and acting spoiled. My husband is still the one who loves me the most. When everyone came to the table, I saw that besides the seafood dishes, there were only 2 plates of bland stir-fried vegetables. Just as I was about to pick up my chopsticks, my mother-in-law quickly pushed the plate of vegetables in front of me, smiling brightly. "Xiao Yi, eat more vegetables. Vegetables are good for you." As she spoke, she filled a bowl of vegetables for me, then happily picked crabs for each person except me. I watched the 3 of them eat their fill, and several times I tried to pick up a piece, but my mother-in-law frowned and signaled. Seeing that my father-in-law didn't show any mercy, he picked up his chopsticks and tapped my hand twice. My hand immediately became red and swollen, and the pain was so intense that it made me tremble. The chopsticks fell to the ground. He scowled and scolded, "Have you never eaten delicious food? If you don't know how to pick up food, then only pick up the food in front of you. You said you're a city girl with no manners. I don't know what my son saw in you." My mother-in-law, who was still holding a mouthful of lobster, quickly joined in. "We pitied you, so we let you join the table. It's lucky you weren't kicked off your chair. You still want to take dishes from us?" I felt nauseous watching her chew and spit out food crumbs. In just a moment, the 3 of them had eaten all the seafood. As for me, from start to finish, I only got to eat 2 plates of tasteless vegetables. A few hours after the meal, my mother-in-law started to itch all over her body and couldn't sit still. My husband saw this and quietly suggested, "Mum, you must be allergic. Don't eat so much next time." I immediately interrupted him, opened my phone, looked up an article about desensitization therapy, and showed it to them. Ian deliberately said seriously, "You don't understand anything. This is called desensitization therapy. Mum used to eat too little, so she wasn't used to it. Now she eats a lot, her body will gradually adapt. You say that because you don't want Mum to eat well, right? Besides, seafood is a food rich in protein, very nutritious. My mother has never enjoyed it before. Now she can eat well. It is also natural. Don't be afraid of anything. Just eat as much as you want." Mother-in-law was extremely pleased when I spoke on her behalf and even glared at her son. "You raised me for so many years, but rarely let me eat seafood now. What if I spend my own money to buy it?" Then she took out 2 yuan from her pocket, stuffed it into my hand, and said in a sympathetic voice, "Oh, my Xiao Yi has had a hard time at our house. Tomorrow I will go to the market to buy some seafood. I will cook it myself." I looked at the 2 yuan crumpled in my hand, almost bursting out laughing because of anger. Now she wants me to pay for lobster for her to eat. I pretended to nod obediently. "Yes, tomorrow Mum can just wait at home." I happily agreed, a new plan immediately popping up in my head. If you have no humanity, don't blame me for being heartless. Everything I do now is because you owe me. The next morning, I woke up early, went to the seafood market near my house, and first treated myself to a fresh lobster. Then I found a nearby restaurant and slipped 20 yuan into the owner's hand. "Can you handle this lobster to get rid of the stale smell?" The owner took the money and smiled warmly. "It's a small matter. I've been a chef for decades. Handling these dishes is my job." I sat in the restaurant, happily enjoying the fresh lobster that I had personally picked. A moment later, the owner brought out a box of super spicy lobster, which looked extremely eye-catching. But those lobsters, I didn't lose any money. This morning, I went to the garbage area outside the market and picked up some dead lobsters. Then I asked the restaurant to use strong spices to cover up the fishy smell. After eating, I was definitely speechless, not even making a sound. Around noon, I brought the box of super spicy lobster home. As soon as I opened the door, my mother-in-law rushed out and scolded me. "Where did you go in the morning? Didn't do any housework, didn't even cook breakfast. Do you see any daughter-in-laws like you? My son is really blind and newlywed like you." My husband and father-in-law sat in the living room, letting her scold me without trying to stop me. I swallowed my anger, raised the lobster box, and shook it in front of her. "Mum, I went to buy lobster for you early. Don't be angry anymore. I even asked a skilled chef to make it for you. You just need to eat, no need to cook anything." She immediately grabbed the lobster box, glanced at me, and then happily called out, "Husband, son, come out and eat lobster." I lowered my head, trying not to laugh, holding chopsticks in my hand, pretending to stare at the lobster dish with longing. She seemed even more pleased in less than a few minutes she had finished the lobster box, licking it clean to the bottom of the box. In the afternoon, she excitedly ran downstairs to the apartment to chat. That shrill voice, I could still hear it clearly from afar. My daughter-in-law, she came back from the city but had no manners. She even saved food for the adults when eating. Getting married, signing a marriage certificate. Just having a party. "If you want to officially enter my house, you must at least give birth to a son. If my son is not satisfied, just throw him out." My hand clenched the phone tightly, anger rising in my heart. In my previous life, I must have been blind to endure the torture of these three people just because of the word husband. But my husband always ignored all the humiliation she gave me, and in the end, he even became the one who helped kill me. I will definitely repay that debt. Just when I was calculating my next move, my mother-in-law came home. Seeing that I was not doing any housework sitting in the living room playing with my phone, she got angry and threw my phone to the ground. "What are you doing to be so lazy? Don't you know how to do housework? You hug your phone every day, the signal is so strong. What if you get pregnant and it affects the baby?" Then she ran in front of my father-in-law and my husband, pulling up her sleeve to show off the red blistered patches of skin. Honey, the neighbors said that Mum is allergic. What kind of medicine should I take?" "Arglocfeniramin." Hearing that, I was a little panicked. No, if she takes the medicine now, the plan I just started will be ruined. I immediately interrupted seriously, saying, "What medicine doesn't have side effects, Mum?" I gently scratched her itchy spot while trying to persuade her. "It's just a little itchy, Mum. Scratch it a little, and it will go away. It's not a serious illness. Once you get used to it, your body will adapt. And you won't have any allergies in the future." Then I took out the box of glocfeniramin that the doctor had prescribed, pointed to the side effects section in the instructions, and said this kind of medicine, if taken too much, will harm the stomach and liver. You should still limit the use of Western medicine. What if the allergy hasn't healed yet and another illness develops? Wouldn't it be a loss for both parties? My husband and father-in-law looked at the swelling on my mother-in-law's skin and felt that the neighbors were just making a big deal out of nothing, so no one objected to what I said. My mother-in-law seemed to think it made sense, thinking that it was just a few red spots like mosquito bites, nothing serious. I knew that little girl had no good intentions. Seeing my mother eat seafood every day, she was jealous, and now she even incited me to take medicine to harm her. What a slut! Tomorrow I have to go find her and settle the score. I gently comforted her. "Mum, don't bother with that kind of person. Tomorrow I'll go buy seafood again and let you eat deliciously in front of her. She'll be so angry." Hearing that, my mother-in-law nodded repeatedly and even gave me a thumbs up. That's right. If she can't eat grapes, she'll say they're sour. My good daughter-in-law buys seafood for me every day. My son really doesn't judge people wrongly. A few days later, I saw my mother-in-law pulling the hand of the girl who advised her to take medicine the day before, scolding her non-stop. "You're jealous and angry, you evil-minded girl. That girl didn't expect her kindness to be bitten back so painfully. She was weak and didn't dare to fight back. If she accidentally pushed this old woman down, it would be trouble. Let me go, I'm just reminding you because I'm worried about you. I'm not jealous at all." The crowd of neighbors heard the noise and came out to see. Seeing my mother-in-law holding the girl's hair, everyone gathered around. After understanding the whole story, most of them sided with the girl. My mother-in-law was criticized by the whole crowd, and she played the same old trick lying on the ground, crying and eating, "Oh my God, just because I'm old, everyone is bullying me. Are you jealous because I get to eat well? Does the heavens understand these people are bullying me? It's obvious that that little girl is jealous, deliberately harming me, and you guys are still defending her. You must have been bewitched by that fox." Hearing her say that, many people were so angry that their faces turned red and immediately jumped in to argue back. After this time, her image as a kind mother-in-law completely collapsed in the residential area. After my mother-in-law finished making a fuss, I pretended to rush downstairs and apologize to each neighbor. When everyone saw that I was sincere, they didn't make a big deal out of it, but it was clear that she would be gossiped about from now on. I dragged her home talking softly as I walked, and finally promised to buy delicious food in return, and she agreed to sit outside. From then on, I brought back different kinds of seafood every other day, and my mother-in-law became more and more pleased and bragged to the neighbors downstairs all day long. At home, my status was also clearly raised, and everyone treated me more gently. Just wait, my next step is about to begin, because I change seafood dishes for them every day. People often watch food bloggers' live streams. Seeing people on the screen eating delicious squid and seafood eating and earning money at the same time, everyone is envious. My mother-in-law started to have an idea, picked up the phone and asked me, "Xiao Yi, can these food live streams make money? Just filming a video of yourself eating will get you paid." I nodded and patiently explained, "Of course, Mom. The more views you get, the more you earn, and viewers can also give gifts. After you become famous, there will be restaurants that will send free food for advertising. My friend has someone who does this and earns tens of thousands a month." Hearing that my mother-in-law forgot about her itchy body and happily said, "I see many families where the husband, wife and children eat together. Happily, they can eat delicious food and earn money at the same time." So she dragged my father-in-law and my husband out of the bedroom and started talking about her big career plan. "What making me quit my job to come back and do food live streams with you? What's wrong with you?" My husband was the first to object. "Doing business online is fine, but forcing you to quit your job is not good if no one watches. How will the whole family survive?" The mother-in-law's face immediately darkened. She pulled him aside and whispered, "Alas, your father and I don't know how to use high technology and live streaming. We still need young people to manage. Xiao Yi is clumsy. If she accidentally breaks the equipment, it will be miserable. But you are a family member. I can rest assured to hand it over to you." Seeing that my husband was still hesitant, my mother-in-law continued to increase the temptation. "As for income, don't worry, just tell Xiao Yi to give you the salary card to keep. When the live stream channel is stable, the whole family can just sit and enjoy the money. Why do we have to work for a salary anymore?" Hearing my mother's analysis, my husband began to waver. He took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth, stood on the balcony, and thought for a long time, then finally nodded in agreement. "Okay then, I will ask Xiao Yi to give me the salary card. In a few days, my son will quit his job and the whole family will focus on developing a food channel." After discussing it with his mother, he turned to me. "Honey, you must have heard. Now I plan to start a food channel with my parents. The initial stage requires some capital, so give me your salary card." Seeing that I seemed hesitant, he started to draw a line. "Don't worry, honey. When we earn money in the future, I definitely won't let you suffer. I will buy a bigger house and take you to take the most beautiful wedding photos." I listened and pretended to be happy, nodding like a virtuous wife. "Honey, whatever you do, I will support you." Then I stuffed exactly 100 yuan into his hand. I even acted shy and didn't dare to look straight at him. My parents saved my salary in the bank, but now they are traveling, so they can't take it out. This is the last money I have, but don't worry, we can borrow it from another place first, and when my parents come back, I will pay it back right away. It's just drawing cakes. Who doesn't know how to draw? Seeing me say it with certainty, the whole family temporarily believed it was true. A few days later, the house started to be cluttered with equipment for live streaming. It seemed like they invested a lot. My husband said he borrowed money from the neighbors, but no one gave him any, and in the end he had to borrow money online at high interest rates to manage. So every few days he reminded me, Xiao Yi, remember to urge your parents to come back and get the money to give to me. While he was busy preparing for the live stream, I was quietly typing on the keyboard on my phone. This trap was about to be pulled. Recently, my mother-in-law started to itch intensely with red rashes all over her arms, legs, and body. She scratched non-stop every day, tossed and turned at night, had dark circles under her eyes, and sometimes felt dizzy and nauseous. There were always moans and groans in the house. Gradually, she began to recall the neighbor's previous advice, feeling that something was wrong. One day, she pulled my husband aside and asked worriedly, "Why haven't you gotten better yet? Didn't I tell you to eat more and you'll get used to it, but it's too itchy. I can't stand it anymore." Seeing her starting to doubt, I quickly softened my voice to comfort her. "Mum, if you're worried, let me invite a famous traditional Chinese medicine doctor to examine you." But my father-in-law began to grumble. Inviting a doctor to our house wasn't free. It sounded good who would pay for it. Did she think about her family's current situation? I smiled, tried to swallow my anger, and said softly, "Of course I'll take care of the examination fee. Don't worry." Hearing that my mother-in-law nodded repeatedly with nothing left to object. Very quickly, I invited a traditional Chinese medicine doctor to our house. The old man took her pulse with great grace and frowned slightly. She was weak and couldn't stand the taste of strange things. Now eating too much nutritious food would cause her body to reject it, which was normal. After hearing that, the mother-in-law panicked. "Oh my God, what should we do now? Can't we eat seafood anymore?" Looking at the bewildered mother-in-law in front of her, the traditional medicine doctor was still very calm. Her itching like this was actually a blessing. Her body was eliminating toxins, and all the bad substances that had accumulated before were being released, so she had to eat more. When her body got used to it, she would become a lucky person. If she felt uncomfortable, she had to endure it. This is a process of cultivation. One must go through hardships to be able to transform and change one's destiny. He said all these words like a saint descending to earth, making my mother-in-law dizzy. But in the end, she believed that these things were good things. All the remaining doubts in her heart disappeared. She was moved, held the doctor's hand, bowed, and thanked him several times. "That's great. He is truly a master." Xiao Yi quickly sent the teacher to the door. I respectfully sent the doctor out of the apartment building, conveniently stuffing a few hundred yuan into his hand. "Thank you, you acted well." On the way back, I started going online to buy a bunch of X-nails for my mother-in-law's livestream channel. The function of these accounts is, of course, to praise. After being enlightened by the doctor, my mother-in-law ate more and more seafood. Dear friends, if you like it, remember to follow the channel so you don't get lost. Come on today, I will eat a giant Boston lobster. Remember to give me a gift for Mum. In the live stream room, the mother-in-law sat in the middle, eating voraciously. The father-in-law stood behind her and helped her while my husband sat in front of the screen watching the feedback. Unexpectedly, it had just been broadcast for a short while, but there were already a lot of people watching. Looking at the comments filling the screen, the mother-in-law smiled widely, eating even more enthusiastically. This live stream is really fun to watch, supporting a ticket. I really like watching people eat seafood. I've given you a gift. Eat another lobster. Fake comments gifts also came in droves. The mother-in-law was overjoyed. It's just that she didn't know that all this popularity was an illusion created by me. The live stream became hotter and hotter. The number of followers increased continuously. To maintain the popularity, the whole family continued to borrow money, investing in buying more lobsters. At the same time, the mother-in-law's health condition got worse and worse. She was so itchy that her whole body was covered in scratches from scratching herself. She couldn't sleep every night, groaning non-stop. One day I asked her with a trembling voice, looking scared, "Xiao Yi, is this really detoxification? Is what the doctor said the other day true? Why is Mum so itchy? I can't stand it anymore." I immediately became excited, pointed at the bruises under her skin, and said, "That's right, Mum. It's like the effect of steam or scraping. These marks are bruises that have been pushed out, helping the body detoxify and expel gas." I even deliberately made a face of admiration. "Mum, this is a blessing. Who else can be like you eating Alaskan lobster every day? What a lucky and wealthy person." After hearing that, my mother-in-law smiled, forgetting all the itch that was tormenting her. It had been 10 days and half a month since the live stream started. My husband had quit his job. The three of them stayed home all day to live stream and eat lobster. The borrowed money was almost gone. My husband started to worry and came to me to urge me, "Xiao Yi, your parents haven't come back yet. I really need money." I smiled and comforted them gently. "I told you your parents are trying to come back as soon as possible. Don't worry, I was really blind in my previous life. This man in front of me is both weak and useless. But I fell in love blindly. We didn't even register our marriage, but I gave him all my money and asked him to keep the property. In this life, I only drew a picture for him, but don't even dream about money. Because there really was no money left in the house, they started to eat cheaper food. But as soon as they ate cheap food, the live stream immediately lost all its views. The comments on the screen were all about watching her eat lobster, otherwise they wouldn't give her any more gifts. My mother-in-law had no choice but to start making a mess in the house. She cried and yelled, scolding my father-in-law and my husband for not supporting her, causing her to lose a rare opportunity to make money. In the end, they reluctantly compromised and went to buy some not-so-fresh lobsters that were on sale to continue filming. I love watching live streams of lobster eating. It's so delicious. I'm jealous of her. She eats lobster every day. If only I had money like that. I love it so much I've given her so many gifts. Eat more, auntie. Doesn't anyone think this lobster is rotten? The head is black. That's right. Look at the head of the lobster. It's so black it's disgusting. Amidst the series of flattering comments, a few honest lines appeared, and my mother-in-law immediately saw it. She was already in a bad mood from eating spoiled food. Seeing this made her even angrier, immediately scolding loudly, "Is my lobster spoiled? How can a mother with this much money eat spoiled food? It's obvious that some people who don't get to eat good food are jealous and slandering me in the live stream. My Boston lobster is top-notch. Those with money can't afford it. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll sue you." My fans helped me report that comment. In no time, the live stream room was quiet again. Only comments were left. That's right, all made up because of jealousy. Report it, support her to continue live streaming. Don't pay attention to those comments, keep eating. After that uproar, my mother-in-law's live stream channel became even hotter. Seeing the number of gifts increase continuously, she started to dream of a rich life. She increasingly showed contempt for me, cursing me whenever she opened her mouth. My father-in-law and my husband didn't hide their displeasure with me in the house. I often heard her sitting downstairs gossiping with the neighbors. My daughter-in-law is useless and hasn't even registered her marriage yet. Later, my family found out that I was talented. I will let my son go out and find some educated girls and give birth to smart and promising grandchildren for my family. Now, I only treat her as a maid. Normally, hiring a maid requires a salary of several million, but this one not only works for free, but also has to spend money to support us. My husband heard that and sat next to me nodding and laughing. But after the last time she caused trouble, not many people in the area respected her anymore. On the contrary, many people started to feel sorry for me. Some people saw the allergic spots all over her body, originally wanted to speak up, to remind her, but then thought better of it, afraid that her kindness would be seen as evil. After that, she opened a video of her in the family group, bragging that her family was going to be rich. Her son was both smart and talented. The whole family would soon travel around the world. Each word was full of pride, sometimes even hinting at criticizing me. Several times when I came back from the market, I caught her dragging my husband to go on a blind date with another woman. But as soon as those women saw their mother-in-law, their faces immediately showed disgust. It was unclear whether it was because of her bad reputation or the horrifying injuries on her body. The mother-in-law thought it was because her son was not good enough, so she scolded him as soon as she got home. This useless guy looked like he had no soul from head to toe, but she was confident in her heart that after becoming rich, this kind of woman would have whatever she wanted. Now that she dared to look down on her son, she would definitely regret it later. While I was cleaning the house, my mother-in-law rushed over and pushed me hard, causing me to fall flat on my face. She was clumsy and inept at her work. She was truly a woman who could not give birth. Luckily, I didn't feed you lobster. Someone like you doesn't deserve good things. Luckily, my son didn't register his marriage with you, otherwise all the money he earned from live streaming would have gone to your head. After saying that, she sat down on the sofa, her hands still scratching furiously. My mother-in-law's whole body was covered in scratches. Many places were scratched until the skin was torn. The bones were starting to become inflamed. The place where she sat was covered in blood and blind spots. I didn't say anything, just quietly wiped away those disgusting marks. Seeing her face getting worse and worse, I secretly rejoiced in my heart. The play was about to end. The more seafood my mother-in-law ate, the more severe her allergic symptoms became. My father-in-law and my husband tried to advise her to eat less several times, but she scolded them all. The traditional Chinese medicine doctor said it was my blessing. I am detoxing my body now, and when it is done, I will become a blessed person. Those people who kept telling me to eat less were not kind and did not want me to be healthy. After being scolded a few times, they got bored and stopped advising me. Until one morning, I heard a loud scream coming from the bedroom. I slowly walked over to see what was going on. My mother-in-law was sitting on the bed, her whole body covered in large and small blisters, many of which had burst oozing pus onto the bedsheet, and even her face was covered in prominent red marks. She used to be a middle-aged woman, still retaining some colour, but now she was just a disgusting body covered in pus and blood. My father-in-law stood beside her, his face wrinkled like meat. She made the bed fall like that, so disgusting. All day long, she only knew how to eat seafood. She snapped back, "Who am I eating seafood for? Isn't it to live stream and make money for this family?" When she looked in the mirror and saw her face was so deformed from allergies, she almost collapsed. I then walked over and smiled brightly. "Mum, you're almost healed. These blind spots are toxins being pushed out. It seems like the last bit of poison is almost gone. You'll be extremely blessed in the future. Wait for the wounds to heal and the new skin that grows will be much whiter and smoother." Mother-in-law's eyes lit up and she jumped out of bed excitedly. "Really great. Let's go. Let's get ready for today's live stream." She was cheerful, as if she had never had an allergic reaction, completely ignoring the ugly expressions of her husband and son. "Hello, my dear friends. Today, our family ate a super big field crab." Mother-in-law held the crab in front of the camera and showed it off a few times before starting to eat it. Did I see it wrong? Her skin looked so horrible. Here's the wound. I saw it too, but didn't dare say anything. I was afraid of being scolded. Another anti-fan came in and said bad things. In the countryside, bruises and scratches are normal, so why blame it on seafood? Don't pay attention to bad comments, Auntie. I really like you. I watch every day waiting for the live stream. Mother-in-law also saw those comments, but just sneered. I am enjoying the blessing. Those who are not blessed will not understand. Not everyone can eat seafood every day like Mother. If you don't like it, please exit the live stream. Don't affect the spirit of Mother and family. Every day coming here to curse Mother, it must be people from the rival channel who sent me to sabotage. Seeing that Mother is more famous, they play dirty tricks. She angrily scolded even those who had good intentions to remind her. As for fans, they continued to join in. But the more she live-streamed, the slower she ate, and her complexion became paler and paler. She tried to vomit several times, but tried to swallow it down. Her husband and father-in-law began to worry, but she still smiled and shook her head. "It's okay, I'm just a little full." Everyone thought she was full, so no one paid any more attention. No one expected her to suddenly turn pale and collapse to the floor without any reaction. My husband and father-in-law immediately called an ambulance and took my mother-in-law to the emergency room. I pretended to be worried. "Why don't you let me stay home and look after the house? If I follow you, it will only get in the way." After they left with the ambulance, I picked up the luggage that had been prepared for a long time and quietly called another car to follow behind. Of course, I couldn't miss the end of this drama. When we arrived at the hospital, the doctor immediately announced that my mother-in-law's condition was critical. The patient had a severe seafood allergy and her internal organs had begun to fail. The emergency treatment cost would be quite high. Everyone goes and pays the money first. My husband's father and husband were stunned and couldn't believe it, so they pulled the doctor's hand to hold him back. What my wife had always been normal, how did she have multiple organ failure? Doctor explained clearly, "It must have just been because she ate too much. Don't even think about cheating us." The doctors shook their hands away and hurried back to the emergency room. My husband quickly comforted my father, saying, "It's okay, Dad. There's still a lot of money in my livestream account. Mum will be fine." He opened his phone and was about to withdraw money from his livestream account when he found that he couldn't withdraw it. His hand started shaking. "Why is this happening? Why can't it be? Can I withdraw money?" Frantically contacting the platform, he received a response. Most of the livestream bonuses came from minors. Now the parents are asking for an unconditional refund. Most of the money has been refunded, and the rest is not much. My husband stood in front of the cashier confused and not knowing what to do, calling everywhere from relatives to neighbors to borrow money, but no one helped. Finally, he called me anxiously. "Honey, quickly transfer the money to me. Mum needs emergency surgery." I laughed, my voice cold. "Who is your wife? What does your mum's surgery have to do with me?" He shouted into the phone. "It's your fault. You always tell Mum to eat seafood. Now the allergy is so severe, you have to take responsibility." I sat down on the chair leisurely, replying exactly as they had said to me before. "Don't make such a big deal out of it. If other people can eat it, why can't your mum eat it? Are you really weak, or are you pretending to cheat me of money?" After saying that, I hung up, blocked the number and deleted the contact, then packed my luggage and walked far away. Later I heard that if I couldn't find you, I wouldn't be able to get the money. My mother-in-law missed the best time for emergency treatment. There wasn't much money left from the live stream, and with the debt piling up, they couldn't pay the loan, so they had to mortgage the house. My husband even went to my apartment several times to look for me. I immediately called the police, saying that there was a crazy person lurking downstairs. The police quickly arrived and took him away. After being threatened many times and not being able to find me, he and his father finally had to hang around the hospital. Both of them held a banner that said, "Killing must pay with your life." The 5 objects in front of the hospital gate were whining and refusing to leave. Until they saw the doctor who had performed emergency treatment on their mother-in-law that day, the 2 of them went crazy. Carrying 2 knives, they rushed towards the doctor. Luckily, the hospital security guard reacted quickly in time to save the doctor. The father and son were eventually prosecuted for intentional injury and sentenced to several years in prison. The past life's injustice has finally paid off. Now I sit next to my biological parents, drinking some wine, eating some seafood, savouring each piece of lobster in a leisurely manner. I eat and laugh happily. Oh, my lobster is really delicious. Thank you for listening to the story at Ken Stories. I hope you have relaxing and fun moments. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe so I have more motivation to make more videos.